Namaskar. Hello friends. This is Dr. Vasant Satpute, Principal of Letter Meshwarpurkar Arts, Commerce and Science College, Sonpet, District Parvani. Today I am before you with yet another critic, that is Sir Philip Sidney. As far as the BA third year's semester 5th, paper 10th, Introduction to Literary Theory and Criticism is just concerned. Sir Philip Sidney, the man, belonged to 1554 to 1586. As far as this critic is concerned, he is termed to be the Renaissance cum Elizabethan poet turned critic. He is very popular for his An Apology for Poetry, published in 1595. A very well-known story about him is being narrated everywhere, and that is the battlefield story. When he was serving in force he was fatally wounded on the battleground, and he passes a glass of water to his another fellow soldier by telling that thy need is greater than mine. This story is very popular as far as Sir Philip Sidney's greatness is concerned. Now, Sir Philip Sidney has to wrote an apology for poetry in 1595, and the reason is that Stephen Gosson wrote a work of art titled School of Abuse in 1579, and that is being devoted to Sir Philip Sidney. And the Stephen Gosson's The School of Abuse has a one type of attack on poetry, and as a writer of the highest calibre, Sir Philip Sidney has considered it is appropriate to answer this man through a poetry, through a work of art. That is, writing poetry is a waste of time. What attacks the Gosson had labeled charged as far as the poetry is just concerned. The very first attack he labeled against the poetry is that writing poetry is a waste of time, and there are other ways to spend one's time fruitfully, and therefore writing a poetry or the composing poetry is a waste time, that we can just say, it is not waste of time, and therefore other branches of literature or other branches of knowledge are there where one can fruitfully use his time. Then he says that poetry is mother of lies. It contains little truth. Poets are liars, and no truth is hidden in the poetry, and therefore this has to be rejected, or it is not to be taken so serious. Then he says that poetry is nurse of abuse. It is immoral. Now let us remember that poetry nurses the abuse, and therefore that cannot be considered as a safe guideline as Plato believed it to be, and therefore he has taken this line from Plato and attacked the poetry. And again he says that to his support he takes Plato, who says that Plato banished poets out of his commonwealth, and therefore on these grounds that Stephen Gosson has attacked the poetry and again devoted it to Sidney, and therefore it has become the moral responsibility of the Sir Philip Sidney to answer these all the charges. And therefore Sir Philip Sidney's apology for poetry, it is an spirited defense of poetry, not only of his age but against all the charges that had been laid since Plato. No other discipline or source of knowledge is greater than poetry. Sir Philip Sidney says that no other discipline or source of knowledge is greater than poetry, whereas he says that the poetry is a mere waste of time. It's very opposite that the Sir Philip Sidney says that no other discipline or source of knowledge is as great as poetry, and it teaches every kind of virtue to man in his social, ethical and moral context is just concerned. So on this ground he defends the poetry. He says that poetry is a fiction. To say that poet is a liar is to misunderstand his very purpose. Okay, it is a fictitious one and no truth is there. This is the attack. Philip Sidney just says that to say that poet is a liar is to misunderstand his very purpose. The question of falsehood arises only when the person tells of facts, past or present. But poet is not going to tell such type of facts since it is a fiction one, and therefore the question of telling lies doesn't stand. Poetry by itself is not corrupt, nor does it intend to abuse. Okay, if a bad poet represents lust as love, it is the bad poet who abuses the poetry, and therefore poetry itself is not bad. The right use of poetry always does good, and therefore it depends on the human beings who is using that medium is just concerned. But in fact, poetry itself is not the bad one. Plato condemned bad poets who in their ignorance abuses the god or abuses the poetry, and therefore it is not that Plato had condemned poetry. He condemned poets who abuse the poetry when he just concerned, where Stephen Gosson took the support of that Plato. But against these charges, Sidney says that Plato never banished the poetry, but he banished the poets who abuse the poetry. Plato banished these bad poets. Plato himself was poet and he admired Homer. Now, as far as Sidney's classicism is concerned, Sidney made first attempt to apply classical rules to English poetry. Okay, after a long gap, means 1500 years after the Plato, Aristotle, and the Horace Longinus, more than that, that he tried to apply the classical rules to English poetry. He follows Plato in the teaching function of poetry. What he says in his definition of poetry, he follows Aristotle and Horace. He says that poetry is an art of imitation, no doubt. And therefore, Sidney insists on the observance of the unities of time and place, along with that of action in English drama. Sidney also admired, or Sidney also followed the three unities of time, place, and action. His value of his criticism: for him, poetry is an art of inventing new things, and even prose that does so is called poetry. It is the art of inventing new things. He says that verse is superior form of expression to ordinary prose, and therefore to Aristotle, poetry is an art of imitation for the natural pleasure imitation affords, and on the baseline of to Sidney, it is an art of imitation for a specific purpose. It imitates to teach and delight. Poetry is not so much an art of imitation as of invention or creation. It creates a new world altogether for the edification and delight of the reader. Poet imitates not the brazen world of nature, but the golden world of the idea itself is concerned. Thank you very much.